Well, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. My name is Sean Williams, and I am so happy to be in here in the studio once again with my brother Hub.
Yes,
I thank the Lord for you pausing your day to be in the studio. Thank the Lord for you, Jason, being in behind the scenes over there taping for us, man. Well, I really appreciate it. But more thanks to you guys out there that watch us every Sunday night. I really appreciate it. Thank the Lord for all of our Facebook and our social media folks that's out there. Write your comments down. Maybe we'll try to repeat some of your comments and give some of your input and your dialogue back and forth. So I thank the Lord for being in the studio. Man, I am excited this morning to be able to be here in the land of the living, man. One more time, man.
It's been a while since we taped.
And man, and there's so many people that have hit us and said, man, when y'all taping another program?
How long did we go?
We probably ran about 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
We ran about 3-4 weeks. So I thank the Lord for everybody that tuned in to us that say, man, keep up the good work.
So since we haven't taped so long, it'd probably be next to impossible for us to just lock this into one title.
Oh man,
we're gonna be diverse today.
So we got up early this morning and we talked late last night and then we got up and we went down to Sam's and had some breakfast and we really couldn't come up with a title. I mean, we got so many things going on across the board. My brother Hub's gonna start it out with some stuff for us this morning, and then we just gonna dialogue.
Okay.
We just gonna dialogue. We gonna get some stuff off our chest.
When you move, I move.
Yeah, just like that.
That's how I taught my zone defense. 1-3-1.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
That's
synchronized swimming. Everybody got to be moving.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, man, in a way that folks can understand
yes,
it, man.
Yes, sir.
And you ain't like what my mama said. Like you tell my mama say, talking over my head.
Yeah.
Bring it on down a few notches. Bring it on down a few notches. So, Brother Hub, start us out with some good news.
Man, good news. Shout out to Verdell Jones Jr., boys varsity coach at Urbana High School. Hadn't won a regional since '89. I think Jason told me Preston Williams was a coach then, so it's awesome. I know they're good friends, so shout out to Coach Jones, Urbana Tigers regional champs. Also, Jeff Finke over at Central. I mean, he just keeps getting it done. Yeah. 4 regional championships in a row. Shout out to him. Shout out to Maurice. I don't really know his last name, but I've been meeting him at the coalition meetings. Ex-felon, convicted felon who's been advocating for kids and opened a Firehouse restaurant? Firehouse. So good kudos to him at the coalition meeting. Tracy made a powerful statement about we gotta know how to embrace when
these guys are doing are complete restorative justice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're giving it back to our community and being a positive player in the community.
Yeah. Shout out to Wayne Turner and his guys over at Boys to Men.
Yeah.
They're doing an exceptional. I mean, Wayne has hit the ground running, doing an exceptional job. I think they're going to D.C. probably for spring break, taking some kids that probably never really been out of town.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
If I was preaching, I'd say reach over and tell your neighbor exposure.
Yeah.
You know, exposure is so important for these kids. So huge shout out to Wayne and Joe Stovall, Dante Lott, Big Bill. It's a couple of more. The Carter guy,
Brian Harvey,
the Carter guy. I can't. He's barbecues, but man, them guys are banging it up. Raymond Carter. Hey, shout out to those guys. Also Dante Lotz. I know he's at Wiley, but he's a banner guy. He didn't hold it that he was class president over at Urbana, you know. And so shout out to him doing a great job. Also Bookie from Urbana, Larry Simmons and Tom Hess, who all are coaches in one form or another, coming to speak to my LD. I really appreciate that. And Orlando Thomas was supposed to come yesterday, but we need to pray for his mom because she's been diagnosed with cancer. And that was my second mom. I mean, so please pray for his family. And last but not least, right here in the studio, Jason. We played all the way down in Olney, Illinois, and Jason was there with the cameras. Went up to Springfield.
He took the show on the road.
Oh, he took the show on the road and did it well. Had Gabe, Abram with him and Johnny. Just an exceptional job. So those just some few fellas I want to send a shout out to.
I was sitting in my seat yesterday, and I'm looking at Community Coalition and the packed room that was there. But it was put in my spirit, and if I had an opportunity to grab the mic yesterday, I would have gave a big shout out to Tracy Parsons and the city of Champaign, because I remember being a part of CCAP, where it was just a handful of us in a room, in a think tank group of how we can connect to the community at a larger scale. And so growth. And we were, some of us were unwilling to change what the smaller segment of the room fear that we'll lose our strength, our power. But it reinforced yesterday that we are more stronger in larger numbers.
Diversity is our way.
And the diverseness in the room. I I really wanted to just give, it was giving a round of applause, and I really wanted to give Tracy Parsons a round of applause for a great job, man, of putting on and facilitating Community Coalition, because that's a powerful group.
Now, I'm going to say this, and I said it when we wasn't on tape. About 10 minutes ago. And so when I came here in 2008, about 2009 with the Kiwan Carrington, I was telling you it's leadership, Sean. No, it's not leadership. No, it's not leadership. And then to hear you in my shop break it down for someone who came in there to sell us something, who's really important around here, and to hear you speak yesterday, I was blown away. And so this is what I said this morning. I said, Sean, most people, when they're in the thick of things, it's hard to remove yourself from the whole town and look at the town like in the Army, we call it a disinterested officer. Meaning you ain't got nothing to do, you're neutral. And what you've been able to do is you was right in the thick of this thing, because I was following you everywhere you was going, and you've been able to clear your mind of all relationships and administer and judge accordingly. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do, but you've been able to do that, man. See, I came here, 20 years military. I was from here, but I had been gone, so I could see it for what it was. But she was like, no. I said, Sean, I'm telling you. But see, I was disinterested. But you, I don't know how you did it, but you pulled yourself up and said, let me look at everything neutral, pure. Let me look at everything that's going on. I don't care if I got a relationship over there. I got to call it what it is. And I think we're going to touch on that today.
Oh, yeah, definitely buckle your seatbelt, because we're going to get on some tough topics, some hard topics, and some hard pills to swallow in this community. But we got to call it what it is, because our folks out here dying in the streets.
Yes, sir.
Our families are suffering.
Yes, sir.
Our futures look dim.
Yes.
Just keep it 100. And so...
and it's happening on our watch.
And it's happening, it's definitely happening on our watch, especially if you're in a leadership position, especially if you're in charge of something. And so all of us in charge of some family, all of us got kids out here, somebody that we connected to, so it's on your watch also. So it just ain't if you're a public official or an elected official or something, it's happening on your watch too. And if you sit back and let it happen, you either part of the problem, you part of the solution.
Real quick, the Holy Spirit convicted me. See, when somebody is doing something all the time, sometimes you can forget them, because they've been rolling for a long time. Tracy Dates. Now, how can I forget that name? You know what I'm saying? But that's because Tracy, that's what he do. So shout out to Tracy Dates and Dream Center. Shout out to him
Dream
as well.
Academy, And so, as I think about it, Brother Hub, like yesterday when when I came in, I had just been dealing with families and stuff like that, and then I'm dealing with other different stuff that's going on throughout the community. And so you caught me, right when I'm in the middle of things. I'm in the wilderness, I'm coming in I'm traveling through the wilderness, and trying to maneuver, But I've learned over these years how to be very patient, and not to get real emotional, and kind of look past that big old tree that's in front of you and be able to see further down the road. Because a lot of us will destroy a relationship because of that one tree. We can't see no further, and we'll stop right there and we'll destroy relationships. But I was just telling somebody on last night, you can't tear down, you can't be able to burn bridges down in the community too, because you never know what you're gonna have to cross back over. And so I try to stay focused and try to learn how to win in the wilderness. And so and it's a lot of different things that's going on in the community. What we're gonna jump on this topic, and Brother Hub, is that one good thing is we haven't had any shootings here recently.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's one good thing. Yeah. We haven't had any shootings in the past, couple weeks.
Yeah, March.
And so within March, we had a couple in February that has went down, but it's happening still across our country.
Yes, sir.
So we look for places, we look for people. A lot of times when we want to put some, we got to put some blame somewhere. Yeah. We got to put some blame somewhere. Who fault is it?
Right.
Hey.
The spirit of L.A. Lakers. LeBron done came. We got to blame somebody because this didn't work out the way it's supposed to.
I mean, we got to put it on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so we try to find out what's broken. We got to find out what's broken. When I was listening to TD Jakes this morning, he's telling, man, stop being routine. You're doing the same old thing. Your 2013 look like your 2014. Your 2014 look like your 2006. You're doing the same thing.
Same thing. Yes.
And it ain't been working.
And Sean, as you've been a military man, we responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen.
On your watch.
On our watch.
On your watch.
Yeah.
So
we're responsible.
And a lot of times we shuck our responsibilities, man, kick the ball down the road, man. We don't want to make the tough decisions. We don't want to tell nobody nothing, the tough stuff. And really you're hurting your folk. When you don't tell that young man, cut your hair. When you say you're going to interview and you wearing that.
Right. Time out.
You look like that.
Right. Time out.
Man, come on, cut it out. Cut your hair.
Time out.
At least braid your hair. And so many times we just don't tell our folks the tough stuff, and we watch them fail. We know they're gonna fail before they fail. Especially if you know better. Yeah. If you know better, you do better.
Yes, sir.
You know better. And if that didn't work out last time, when you check somebody, cuss them out, this and that and this and that, well, next time, you can't do that.
Yeah, you change up.
Because that didn't work.
Change up.
But that's just who I am. Yeah. They just got it. Well,
they call you insanity.
That's just who I am. You got that's just the type of person I am.
You doing the same thing over and over and expecting some different results.
But you the leader. You in charge. Yeah. That's just who I am. Then next thing you know, the other ones say, that's just who I am. And because grandmama was that, that's just who that one is. And everybody failing down the whole family tree.
Sean, I got to share this. And you just hit me. And I'm going to be real quick. Just left. Jumped out of town and jumped right back in 3 or 4 days because I heard my daughter say I'm gonna take a year off. Oh, time out, and so I went down Texas State in San Marcos, right by San Antonio, but I had to hear and look at her, because. A year time off can lead to 5 years. Then you'd be like me, 54, trying to get a master's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I told her pretty much. It's her decision. It's her decision, and I'm not trying to live vicariously through her. But I always tell people, my kids. They don't have to give me nothing. I got an attorney. They don't have to give me nothing. I just want to put them in a position where they don't have to ask me for nothing. Daddy, I need $20 to fix my car. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna raise my kids so they can be rich and be successful and give me a lot of money. No, I'm good. I just need you to be able to take care of yourself. And so what you're saying about doing over and over and over, I said, man, I got to make sure that we got a plan here, and I need to hear from her. So I went down there. You hear me? I went down. I'm going down there. Boom. Hey, what's going on? Da-da-da-da. Okay. So, you got a plan.
Okay.
And so, next slide. But if it would have been the insanity thing, we got to do like you say. We got to check that. We got to check that because silence is acceptance.
Right.
I'm sorry about that.
You good. So, Brother Hub, you know, a lot of the stuff that that we talk about on the program, we always, me and you both, you know, we first of all, we mama boys.
Yes, sir.
And so,
Evelyn.
And then second, you know, Miss Rolene. And then secondly, you know, we've been going to church all of our lives.
All our lives.
So we got some grounded principles, some like-minded grounded principles that lead us and guide us. And when we're walking through the wilderness, we got something to reference to.
Sir.
Okay?
Yes,
so let's get that backdrop.
Ooh.
So let's get that backdrop.
I'm writing reference down.
You know, so we got something to reference to. Okay? So then, so when we try to find out what is the problem, but we also got to find out what our commonalities are. And so when we talk about our commonalities, and so I was able to go across something. I think Big and them sent it to me, sent it to a few other guys, and I listened to it the other night in my car. And so I was listening to what they had emailed us, and it was, he said, man, if you take 5 minutes out of the day, it's probably an hour show, but listen to it. And it was a bunch of professors and professional people on the panel. They had this dialogue, and I listened to it. So I did some more further research, and it's this. It was a editorial that was written in the Huffington Post, and it was written by Professor Eddie Glaude, and so the reference of it and the editorial was, is the black church dead?
Ooh, is the black church dead?
Is the black church dead? And so I'll read a couple snippets. We're gonna dialogue on it, but I want to read a couple snippets from it and then have our dialogue, because I believe that this is the backbone of the problem that's going on with the black community. Okay, and we'll get into the dialogue on why I believe that after I finish. But this is the backbone, because we're responsible for everything that happens on our watch or fail to happen on our watch. And this has been our shelter in our time of need, is the black church and the leadership within the black community. Okay, so what he's went on to say is that the black church has, as we know it, is dead. That's what he went on to say. He said, the black church as we know or imagine is dead. He goes on to say, according to a research center from this religious organization, Public Life, 87% of African Americans identify with religious groups, and 79% say that religion is very important in their lives. Okay. And then it goes on for a second, and it says that the ideal of the black church stands at the centers of all that takes the place in the community, and it has long passed away. I will go to the third one thing, and the third paragraph is that, thirdly, the most important point, we have witnessed the routinization of the black prophetess witness. Too often the prophetess energy of the black church or representations as something inherited into it, as it being an inherited institution. And we need only to pass these or evidence of this fact. Sentences like, the black church has always stood for, the black church was our rock. Without the black church, we have nothing. And so, and then I'll go on to another point. The black church stands as the pipeline. African American unemployment is the highest in 25 years. 35% of our children live in poor families, inadequate health care, rampant incarceration, home foreclosures, and general sense of helplessness overwhelm many of our fellows. Of course, countless local black churches around the country are working diligently to address these problems. But he goes on to say, the question becomes, what will be the role of the black church on a national stage under these conditions? Okay, and I had one more.
That's powerful.
The death of the black church, as we know, it's occasionally opportunity to breathe a new life into what it means to be the black Christian. Black churches and preachers must find the prophetic voice in this momentous presence. And in doing so, black churches will rise again, and the existence that we all assert ourselves on a national stage. Okay, and so I'll go from there because what this author does is put that responsibility back on the national level. And as I listened to this conversation that they had, and it was very different conversation. And I thought it was when I listened to all these professors speak, it's like a rap battle. Who can say the biggest word?
Yeah.
And my mama coming to me and saying, "Man, break that down so all of us can understand it." And so as I interpreted what they were talking about, a lot of them were saying, "Keep it 100, man. Y'all ain't doing y'all job. Y'all have not been doing your job." And it's been this battle where we didn't came toward this emotional performance. For you to be able to say, "Man, you know what? Whew, man, we had a good time at church."
It's really weed. I mean, that's what it really. When I was in Texas, I went to a church. I said, "Man, I can't stay here no more." Because all he's doing is passing out weed and everybody getting high. Right, and everybody getting high, and 3 hours later, your high gone down, you got the same problems. But you was in there shouting and emotions. Man, I need to know how to fight the devil when I leave here, man. I need you to say something. I need you to give me something that I can have in my heart so I won't sin against thee. That's what I need. I don't need you to tell me to touch my neighbor 19 times, because if you tell me that, I'm going to want some of your love off of it.
Hey, I ain't got nothing in the refrigerator when I get to the house.
I can't. A lot of people ain't going to like this, Whip.
Keep it 100, man. Whip, people out here dying, man.
When I came back here, you was a part of that.
Oh, okay.
You hear me?
I take that swallow.
You was a part of that, and that's why I said you done came, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It was just stuff had been going on so long, same thing every day, and so I was looking. I'm like, and you couldn't see what I see, but I was fresh. And to keep it 100, I told you about a year ago, the Lord said, "Hold on, you done took up their mentality." You know what I'm saying? So I'm not judging, because I had been here and I was beginning to want to get my lick back instead of rising above the negativity. And so just imagine, I mean, that was a compliment for me to say, "Man, you come up out of that. You did like this," and say, man, that's, and to hear you speak yesterday, I couldn't tell my wife because she was at home, but usually I bounce everything off her. But I was at home saying, "Man, that dude has grown so much." And see, one of the things is, and I said that to say this, a lot of people still stuck, Sean. A lot more. Most people are still stuck because they've been doing this 10, 15, 20 years. They've been hearing the preacher do this and do that and feel good, but then they go home and got the same problems.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this, Brother Hub. I've been changing and evolving for quite a while. And I thank God for my godly principles of the church, of the black church, of AOH, of Love Corner, so many different, of Jericho, Pastor Johnson, so many different, Bishop Wright, so many of these guys have poured into me. But my life has changed through tragedy. And that's going through the wilderness. Through tragedies. And not just my own tragedies. I'm in a business that have me rooted with other families through tragedy. And so as they're going through their tragical moment, I'm going through with them.
That's powerful.
I'm going through. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I got to be able to preach that to them. I got to be able to not preach it to them.
No, you said it. No, right.
I got to teach it to them. I got to walk. I got to lead by example.
Right.
I got to hold that hand.
Right. But part of that is what you did in Danville. And I know you don't want to brag, but the lady didn't know nothing about changing the title, deeds, and the stuff you wrote up to me. I said, nobody
She got all these babies to deal with. This young lady that got killed, she got all these babies to deal with. But
that's so much above and beyond what your role said you're supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the growth comes in. Because you ain't trying to just bury nobody, cash them out. It's you dealing with them before. Hey, you got to go down to the county and get this deed. You got to go down there. Then on the back end, you're dealing with them.
Man.
They still calling you when the funeral's over and all the people, the last piece of chicken done been ate.
Man, bro, you brought me right to a tear. You brought me right to a tear. You know, you brought me right to a tear, man, because you know, I mean, as I thought about that, and I'm thinking about that, man, you brought me right to a tear of thinking about that lady, man.
Yeah.
And you made me think about them babies, man.
Yeah. And let me throw this in there so you can really elaborate. Then, after all that went on, somebody that you connected with, you was able to connect them to, and come on, tell the story, man. People need to know, man. Just tell a snippet, man. Come on, let these people know.
I was doing an interview down at my funeral home, with the reporters about that award thing.
Yes.
And the lady came up. She caught a bus from Danville. It took her 3 hours to get over here. We didn't even know she was going to be there. And then I didn't know what reporter it was, but Lord fixed it where that the environment that this lady came in, the reporter was from Danville. And I said, ma'am, do you mind giving Miss So-and-so a ride back to Danville? She said, sure, Sean. Because I had already, when she was walking up, I had gave her a little background of this is the family for the so-and-so that's going on. Man, they talked on the way over to Danville. She set her up with the United Way. She stopped by at the United Way, stopped somewhere else, got the woman paid for the U-Haul to get the babies back to Texas, gave them some money in their pocket. They raised some money in the office, got her this and got her that, bought her some extra stuff to take on to Texas for the babies to be comfortable when they got there.
Connected the dots.
Come on, man. And so when I go back and I say, and we talk about some of this stuff that's going on, and we talk about the community, and we talk about the folks that's been here for a long time, and they can't see outside the box. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we get defensive because we ain't been to stand and we didn't take that trip and stayed in Atlanta or Texas. We didn't go to the military and travel the world. And so when we bring back something to them, they get defensive, even though these some of our own folk. Our own folk. Because I didn't got into it with some of my own folk.
Fratricide.
Because they ain't seeing it the way I see it. It ain't an economical growth visionary for them, and they don't see it the way I see it. I see it totally different. I see where the mistakes are being made, but we continuously making the same mistakes. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because I deal with young folks. We deal with young folks. We deal with these young guys. And so I'll tell you what's going on. To backdrop on that is that this community struggles with trying to build up young African-American men and boys and girls in this community that's homegrown. You know, build them all the way up and see them be successful. At some point through there, you know, folks is gonna pick at them and tear them down, you know, whether if it's from the babyhood to where your reputation of being connected with a certain family, and they start chopping at that, and they start teasing you at that. And then the next thing you get into school, and then you may be slow on education, you don't have the support in the household or whatever the case, or you got distractions going on, and people tear at that. And then you feel failure there. And then once you get into middle school, and then something might go on, you don't get picked on the team, or you ain't as good as you was over at Douglas or Boys Club, then people chop at you at that, you know. And then you get into high school and something might go, it might be relationship went bad, or something, and then folks chop at that, you know. And then when you trying to find your way to get employment around here, no, he had too many failures. So now you out here seeking and trying to find your way and navigating the community, and you fail at that. Now you on fries. When you know you better than fries. But you done had so many failures that this community, it's hard to build a good man up. So when you see good men going up the ladder, you want to rip them up.
Your guy just left. He in Texas now. You was going to put him on your team when you was going to buy your last venture. He gone. I went to San Antonio. Chubb in San Antonio. I coached him at Central. 3 years he came in my shop. I said, man, get out of here. Not only did he get out of here, he took his girl with him, his girl's sister, and the mama. They all in San Antonio.
And his girl, I just seen it on Facebook. His girl about to go here really soon. And I always tell them, I say, man, this ain't the only town that God done built.
Go see something.
See something else.
Go see something. Man.
See something else. else. And do it while you're young.
Yeah.
One thing about this place is always going to be called home. We still going to be back here working, trying to make this community a better place.
Yes, sir.
And so we still got our work ahead of us.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
I just want it to be a better place. You know, and so as we're trying to, you know, I don't want us to keep on being so gullible. So gullible, you know, where that, somebody, you know, back in the Western days, let me tell you, I'm gonna give you my dad, Gabby, I go back and I go to the house and I sit back and he laying on the bed and, you know, he loved watching Westerns. And so in the Westerns, right, it's always a traveling prophet that always come through. He on his horse and buggy. This been going on for years now. This been going on for years. You know, a traveling prophet. And he come through. And he come through, and he always sit up there, and he tell him, oh, this and this and that and this and that. And then he, after everybody leave, he get out his moonshine or whatever it is, and then he count his little coins up and beat the people and go to the next town. The traveling prophet in the Western.
In the West.
In the Western. Right. Same, rolled it up to 2019.
Right.
The traveling prophet.
Right.
Seeking who he can get over on. Beat.
Right.
But do he got your best interest at heart?
Yeah.
Is he homegrown?
Yeah.
Can you connect this family with that family?
Yeah.
See one thing about me and you, I get on my bike again and roll down to your mama house, and I know who your mama is. Your mama knew who my mama is. I know the rest of the families, and we all connected together, man. How you can't build up people that you connected with? When Tracy talked yesterday, he said, man, you know what? He said, these shootings and murders are dear to my heart because it's our kids.
That's it.
Every time we go to one of these funerals, then we sit up and we say, you know what, that's so-and-so. I didn't know that was so-and-so.
That's it.
I didn't know that was they folk.
Yeah.
You know what, my family married into that family.
That's right. Yeah.
The next thing you know, you killed your own folk.
Fratricide.
Or you letting somebody get on your own people, man.
Self-inflicted.
And we got to call it to what it is, man.
What it is. You know, real quick, the Spirit dropped in when you was telling all the things that you were doing with this certain family. Sean, that's your church. That's your ministry, man.
Oh.
That's your ministry, bro.
And I'm going to take
that. And a lot of times, it's more, this is what I was finna say, but then it's more ministry going on outside the church than inside. But the Lord whispered in my ear, he said that's the way it's supposed to be. See, the church is just a huddle to either get some gas or get some healing. It's the hospital or the gas station. But that's the huddle. The game start when you leave. And see, you in the game, man. You throwing touchdowns and tackles in the game.
But let me tell you the economical backdrop of that, the game. Let me tell you the economical backdrop of the game. We probably got, I say less than 10 physical African-American businesses in this community. Physical.
Brick and mortar.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it 100 real with me. I probably had 25, I own a funeral home, and I probably had 25 messages off Facebook, and then letters that came through, at least more letters that came through when I went and picked the mail up, you know what, donation here, donation there, donation here, donate, my kids need this, can you help, message on there, man, can you help me pay a power bill here, you know, and I've talked it over with you, man, if you don't shop with me, I can't help you. Because you take your money down the road, and they don't care if you had a hot dog. They don't care if your kids did 1,000,000 years in the penitentiary. Because they doing what they do. They doing business. And ain't nothing wrong with doing business.
And we can't control what somebody else do with their money, because it's their money.
Yeah, you can do what you...
But then how you going to double back on me?
So let me tell you the economical thing that goes on, okay? So we raise on and they talked about this panel of guys talked about this. These professionals, these professors, these guys with the degrees that y'all really praise because they got these degrees, okay? And so these guys talked about the economical impact that it has on the African-American community when this money doesn't get put into a positive direction or to our best needs. And so we raise billions of dollars a year in through the African American churches. We have no economic power at any bank in town. We haven't started anything, funded anything pretty much where we can help a family get on the right track. I just watched and I used to be on the Habitat for Humanity's board. They put me on the board because they seen a young black business owner down in the hood that they thought might be able to connect with some of the African American leadership to get more donations to help with Habitat for Humanity. That didn't work. That didn't work. I even brought Pastor Elam in, got him on the board. That didn't work. But I just seen how happy a family was.
Oh, man.
How happy this young lady was.
God.
How happy her kids was to turn cartwheels in their own yard, man. How much impact that was. Man, if we could circulate our own dollars. I just told one of the guys, part of the non-for-profit that's doing some great work in the community with all this violence. And I told him, I said, man, you know what? I said, see, John Lee told me a major thing one night down at the Legion, a place that y'all say we don't need the Legion, you know, but down there because it's our social environment. We own that, you know. And so when I sat down with John Lee, he said, man, Sean, I want you to always remember this. If a man pay you, he's somewhat on you.
He's somewhat on you.
It told me, it reinforced what I already knew. It reinforced what them AOH folks said, Bishop Wright and Bishop Gwynn and some of them folks, and always, man, have your own. Have your own. Because now I ain't got to dictate or go through no puppet strings about what I can do with mine. What I'm gonna do is that when I hear about this family that's passed and that they had tragedy, I ain't gotta go through the man to go through the man to go through the next man to go get him a bucket of chicken, man. I ain't gotta have nobody sign off on nothing and Mother May I. That's what they used to call it.
Mother May I, yes,
Mother May I.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta go through all that because what you do is you build up folk in your community. See, now Big Wayne them ain't gotta really go all the way to DC and take 3,500 because now you can point out people in your community, success in your community. You shouldn't have to travel across the world just to see success. Success should be promoted in your community. See, we don't like to promote success in our own community. When they put me on, when they had me on Facebook and they had me WCIA. I already know, a woman told me when I first opened up the barbershop, me and Miel down there said, whoa, we got our own business. And a lady pulled to the side and I seen the disgust in her face. And she said, Sean, she said, everybody happy about your success. That was 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years later.
20 years ago.
Everybody happy about your success. So folks will go down the road on you. Don't even know why they going down the road. But
well, they going down the road because they know you and they don't know them and they don't have no control over them to be successful. They want to try to control yours.
But when the fire happens, but when the fire happens, then they got to go local. When the fire happens, you got to go local. When you're in trouble, you need the relationship. That's right. Because relationships in this community is major. When you ain't at the meeting, you need somebody at the meeting.
Here's what one of my kids, this is what one of my kids said at LDA. One of my kids at LDA, 6th, 7th, 8th grader said this, Jason, one of my kids say, if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. I'm talking about a middle schooler said that last week. Mr. Burnett,
if you ain't,
I heard that if you ain't at the table, you're on the menu. Now I got two things. I really, one of them is I went to church with one of my friends in San Antonio, and it was right across the highway from where all the Spurs live, the NBA. So it was a highfalutin church.
Okay.
And the pastor wasn't there. The assistant pastor brung up a family that they had helped, Hispanic family that they had helped through what you just said, Habitat for Humanity, and they showed all the clips, and they showed the kids, and the little Mexican kid was about 2 years old, and he said, Mr. Preacher, is this really our house? Oh man, it wasn't a dry eye in the church. This is right in the middle of church service, man. And so that was the one thing. And the other thing I wrote down here: how to control a great leader.
Shh.
Pain.
Shh.
You said John Lee told you that 20 years ago. If a man pay you, he's somewhat on you.
They call it hush money.
Yeah, and so strategically, anybody that I told a guy in your barbershop in 2009, bro, they coming for you because you too valuable. And guess what?
Shh.
Not only did they come for him,
Shh.
they got him.
They got him.
And I'm not going to say he ain't doing a good job, but he can't be the person that he was supposed to be in that job.
You don't have your voice no more.
Yeah. We were talking before the show.
Voice, and I could take away, your opinion,
influence.
Your influence. If I could even take away, the Bible talks about
the salt of the earth.
Yeah, but it talks about the uncircumcised ear. The Bible talks about the uncircumcised ear. And so the uncircumcised ear meaning that you can't hear. You can't hear.
Yeah.
When you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know better.
Yeah.
When you shut down and you in there and you just in routine.
Yeah.
And you leave up out of there the same way.
Hey,
you leave up out of the same way, and your family don't grow.
Yeah.
It shut down your ability to grow. It shut down their ability to grow.
One of my guys call it this: come in, sit down, shut up, sing up, pay up, and get out. And then come back the next Sunday and do the same thing. Like you said earlier, repetition. And the Bible calls us the salt of the earth, man. Influence.
Pastor Johnson preached a sermon one time, said, are we going to church for routine, or are we going for change? Are we going for ritual, or are we going for change? Ritual or change. And our community, in the tragedies that we see, we are the highest number right now of shootings that have happened ever. In this small 2 or 3 months. It's cold outside, Brother Hub. You see the way we dress. I still got my sweat on, even though I'm about to sweat, because I'm getting hot and bothered in here, and because it pricks me when I talk about this stuff, and I'm able to get it out. It helps me too. Because now I ain't got it all bottled up inside of me.
That's right.
But when we don't get the information and then we're able to utilize the information, make our folk grow, then our people at a stalemate. And so everything's when I ride and I see everybody in a stalemate. Back in the day, we called it stuck like Chuck.
Stuck like Chuck.
Man, he's stuck like Chuck. Later on down the road in early 2000, they start saying somebody slipped him a Mickey. Somebody slipped in a Mickey. So now you're walking around crazy. You ain't relevant no more.
So
what if 85% of us ain't relevant? He talked about that number of 89% of us feel as though the black church is very vital to the success of the black community. But if 89% of us are distracted toward the economic growth, the educational growth, all the different things that we need, housing, governmental involvement.
Father Flaker.
Because what's going on, man, this LGTB and all this feminine movements and all this stuff, they woke. They up this morning taking care of their business. The lady that was at your spot yesterday, she said, I went around to every church.
Sure did. She sure said it.
I went around to every church.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Now I'm keeping it 100.
Yes,
she said she went around to every church. I'm sitting there eating my lunch, trying to ignore what she's saying.
Right.
But I couldn't. I had to put my fork down. Because she said she went to every black church. And she said one church in Urbana was open. They had full-time administration. She said another one she went to, they had certain hours. I'm keeping it 100. Some of them had certain days. So when I explained it to her, and I said, you know what, I was dealing with a Condoleezza family one day. And I said, I realized that already. I said, I was dealing with a Condoleezza family one day, and our meeting was at First Presbyterian Church, downtown Champaign. And I went down there, and it was like Grand Central Station. They was offering everything that a person needs to be successful. They didn't need the reentry program. They had their own. They didn't need a housing program. They had their own. They didn't need an employment program. They had their own. They didn't need an educational system. They had their own. And it was rolling 12 to 14 hours a day. Folks in there growing, condoleezing community, learning how to speak English, learning how to be productive citizens, learning how to drive, learning how to get a home, learning how to be a better man, learning how to be a better family, learning how to be a husband, learning how to be a wife. See, happy people do happier things, man.
Yeah.
When you happy, when you happy, you can see somebody else happy. When you disgusted, you want everybody to be disgusted. When you going through, you want to say everybody going through.
I thought about real quick, and now keep going. I just don't throw this in there. I'm just saying this so you can get some air. Oprah Winfrey, her network is called what?
Oxygen.
OWN. O-W-N.
Okay.
She got oxygen too. That's another one. But and maybe she done away with it. But I don't watch that much TV. But her network was called OWN.
And OWN just picked up all TD Jakes stuff. 175 million viewers. That's why he said stop being routine. He been on TBN for the longest. He just broadened his perspectives. We need to broaden our perspectives, broaden your mind, broaden your love.
The prayer Jabez say he prayed, Lord, enlarge my territory. Yeah, enlarge my territory.
Because one thing about
I want you to go back to something though. Just because I wrote this note down. Kind of elaborate on reference point. Because that hit me in wartime. If something go down, we always leave a reference point. Motel 6 said they going to leave the light on for their reference point. So just kind of elaborate that. We ain't got much time. This went quick. But just kind of elaborate on that reference point because you hit it. But then you moved another way.
I done covered so much ground. And so when we're talking about, when we're referencing something, and a reference point is, we're going back and that's the reference point is a starting point.
Yeah, kind of talk about how they're going to do they want the churches to buy in when a tragedy happened with the coalition.
Okay. So right now, with these shootings happening sporadically across our city, we're trying to find a reference point. And so we can identify, so when it happens in a particular neighborhood, then we have a buy-in from one of the church leaders to be able to say immediately within 36 hours, we'll be able to get on there, do a press conference and be able to say, hey, look, everybody, we're going to meet at a particular church and we're going to be able to tell you resources that we got throughout the community to help you deal with the tragedy that you just went through, and we'll be able to tell updates about the shooting. So we need a reference point. We need somewhere where we can start and it to be relevant. And I don't know if that really hit what you were trying to bring out, but
that's an example.
But that's an example. And one of the things and so when we go into that, even a reference point, and going back to what I was going to say is that one of the things, even as a city, and even in the architect chamber, we see that everybody is relevant. So we need those churches, because I already said we ain't got no businesses.
Right.
But we got to see what our relevance is. Sometimes you have power, but you don't even know the power that you got. I called one of the guys that was in the community because he had so much strong support. He had so many different buy-ins from University of Illinois and all that. I called him a wizard with a wand that didn't know what to do with it. Sometimes we can be a wizard with a wand, but don't be the rolling prophet.
Right.
Don't be the Western guy. That you know you a wizard with the wand.
The Bible calls it a hireling.
And then you doing something else with it.
Real quick, let me throw this in.
Because it's real lives at stake.
Cypress Hughes, rest in peace, Pastor Hughes. Cypress Hughes came to me a year before he died. He said, don't you never change. He said, these folks around here said you weren't going to be in business 2 years. He said, don't ever change. And you're going to always rub people the wrong way, so get used to it. He said, because that's what God brought you back here. He told me that a year before I died.
And one thing about it, Brother Hub, is, rubbing folks the wrong way, we got to. Because that's what make us better. It make you, you don't need all yes mans on your team, man. You need somebody to tell you the tough stuff. And if you in a circle where everybody just, you ain't growing. You actually dying.
Slowly.
You actually dying and don't even know it.
Don't even know it.
I just went somewhere and
You look like Joe. You look like your brother.
I'm sitting over there like, man, they don't even get it.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Man, what time is it, man? What time the game come on?
But that's how I was in the key one.
Man, they're like, Jesus, Jay. They don't even get it. God. They ain't even been to the meet. Man, don't they know Rakim Vineyard done died.
Come on.
Man, my little boy buddy Bam done died, man. A.O. done got killed. You know, so many different folks. Man, and then you go to the Darren Mitchell done got killed this past summer. You know, man. My cousin Lurch. You know, so many people done got killed around this community. Man, Mr. Hammond said, man, when you read that list off, I didn't know all them young men got killed in this. We talking about shit. This ain't Chicago. This Champaign. Folks getting murdered on your watch. And we watching folks falling out at funerals and all this other type of stuff. And then back to business as usual. Sleep at the wheel. And leadership have not put them in a focus and did what you said, a paradigm shift.
A paradigm shift.
Meaning that a light bulb then went off where you say, look, man, you will never be the same again. Your life will never, if you want, man, God owns everything, man.
When you go to church on every Sunday, you shouldn't leave the same.
Man, God,
every Sunday.
If God owns everything, man, you should not have to wait for income taxes just to get a breakthrough. You get more out of income taxes than you get out of 52 weeks of church.
I wish you had time to talk about all they talk about is heaven. What about right now?
Man.
I wish you had time.
Oh, man. I think Jason, I got 10? Okay. Oh, Lord.
I thought he said 6.
Oh, okay. Lord, I got 10?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And don't wrong, I want to go to heaven, but
Let me tell you.
do this. I mean, come on.
I'm gonna tell the people this. You know, I do these funerals. I sit and don't take me the wrong way because I love these ministers. I love these pastors, but I got to tell you the tough stuff, man. And I'm not knocking nobody. You know, and I'm even talking to myself. When I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. I'm getting better myself because I'm not at no level. I'm teaching me to be better, okay? But when I'm sitting at these funerals, man, and I'm listening to, I was listening to my buddy Darren. I was at Darren's funeral. I was at Howard's funeral, and I'm sitting at the funerals and I'm listening because it sometimes give me an opportunity to have a break,
release,
especially when it's somebody that's close to me. You know, it's hard to deal with that when you're dealing with somebody.
Real quick, Proverbs tells you that the funerals is for the living.
Yeah.
It's for you to really look at reality staring you in your face.
And so when I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the minister to the people and he's saying, you know what, man, he going to a better place, man. Man, a land of milk and honey and mansions everywhere and streets paved with gold. And I've heard that all my life. Heard that all my life. And I'm not saying
it's wrong.
It's wrong. I'm not saying it's not there for you. But when we don't see that God owns everything and we don't make that a strong point, a hopeful point here while we live it.
Related to what's going on in my life every day, man. That's what I need you to do. Take the Bible and relate it to what's going on with me right now. Because when I leave this TV station, man, the enemy gonna be out there trying to chop my head.
When I leave church and tomorrow I gotta go to some social service agency and the lady behind the counter don't even see me as being relevant. She gonna talk to me because she looking at me like I'm dependent on the community or dependent on the government and talking to the kids crazy, looking at the kid. Look at the young lady that was just tired, man. Sitting down with a baby, been there, took off half a day, man. Sitting there with a baby, and just because we in a environment of racism now, we went back to the 60s, man. Don't drink in that water fountain, don't sit on that floor. Anytime we get a chance to check somebody, we want to check them. Check the young lady pulling a baby, dragging a baby all out of here. I looked at the city council meeting for the young lady. They all apologized. They fired them people, which they should have been fired. But we don't have enough compassion and empathy in our hearts to even deal with our most at-risk folk, man. And when you don't see that being conscious enough, man, when you change and do a paradigm shift.
Come on, man.
We can't even buy up the land next to us, and when we could have, we could play strike the man, strike out, or touch football, kill the man.
Got it.
We can't even. I mean, we've been there 60 years, and we can't buy the property next door.
Ain't got a gym.
When we sit in this community, I mean, when we can't pick up the phone right in this community and say, hey, look, dig, Guardian West, look, put the on there. Yeah, the guy that owns the Jaguars. Hey, man, my church, we done did this program, and I'm sending you 25 guys that been through some life skills program, and they'll be there on the church bus in the morning at 6:30, ready to roll. Appreciate it.
Influence.
Come on, man.
Influence.
Come on, man. See, that's what I want to be. And I've been in enough relationships where I can build this up because I don't want to lose a Dante Lotz in a program that's very vital. He got the relationships big guy, but I told them guys, ain't nowhere in the world you should not be paying that man the highest salary out here, and he dealing with your most at-risk problem. And then on Saturday mornings, he got to roll around with lawnmowers on the back of his truck to supplement income.
No way that shit happen.
That means you don't seem relevant.
That's it.
You don't see the problem relevant.
Yeah, you don't.
I keep it 100, man.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And then we get some of the folks that I sit down and break bread with. But I'm telling you the truth.
I'm telling you,
just let the truth be told.
Now let me say this, because you own one. Man, I
should have got me up early, man.
Jason got us up early. Thank God for you. I got a flight to catch.
So you finna get up out of here, huh?
Yeah, but check this out.
Leave me to deal with all this.
I got to go get some rest and recuperation, man. Listen here though, real quick. We ain't got but 3 minutes. I tried to sneak out of here in 2014. I tried to sneak out of here, man. I was done. The Lord said, no, you can't leave here. If you leave here, I'm gonna take my hand off of you because you got work to do. But folks is waking up. On my way back from Texas, I said, man, it's a whole lot of people doing good. We get a lot of people starting to do better. The town is doing better. We got some hands getting on deck, man. And that's motivates me, because if we can get it right, I ain't trying to live here the rest of my life. I want to take my wife, and we want to go see some stuff. You know, she raised in Danville, went to school in Cornell in New York, and came back home. I want to show her some stuff. And so my thing is, we got some hands on deck. We need more. But this is my last comment. But we definitely need the churches, because that's the only thing we ever owned in our life. We never owned nothing but the church. And that was the only thing that was ours. So we got to step up.
And Brother Hub, wrapping it up in a nutshell, I just want us to be relevant. We gotta be relevant. And because
Sean, if we ain't relevant, we ain't Bible. Because the Bible said we the salt of the earth.
I want us to be relevant. And I'm gonna close it out here. What the young man said, if we ain't at the table, you part of the menu. You part of the menu.
Yeah, you own the menu.
You own the menu.
You own the menu.
I
think he was 7th grade.
The young man said, if you ain't at the table, you own the menu.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it goes.
Yeah, they looking at you seeing if you want to supersize.
You really want that?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be what you think. It's gonna be like going to McDonald's late at night, get home, and you got cold fries.
Yeah.
It ain't what you want.
Yeah.
Hey man, I appreciate y'all tuning in to us. Hey, it's a morning time and we up early. So we've been on one this morning. Yeah. But I think it's some good information for all of us to help us all grow, include me and Brother Hub and Jason. So I appreciate y'all tuning in to us. Appreciate you out there, man. Welcome. And thank you for another episode of Let the Truth Be Told.